Welcome everybody. I have here is a BMW 3 Series 3.0. This one has a 2-cylinder misfire, so I'm going to check the spark plugs. From what I know, these cars do know are known for leaking oil around the spark plugs from valve cover, and that does cause misfire. So let's diagnose that. First thing we need to do is remove the cabin air filter out. Right here there are 4 screws that we're going to remove those. There you go. There you go. This is how long the screw is actually. 3rd screw here. Right. Got it. Goes to the last one. That's the 4th one here. We got a last one here. Just lift this guy up and out of the way. This will give you access to the entire valve cover. Next we're going to remove these 2 caps here. Just pry them out. Under here we have 10mm. Take this one out. Ten fastener. Let's take the old cap off. Perfect. Lift and slide it out of the way. That would expose the spark plugs to you. To check, we're just gonna pull the coils out. Coils dry. Let's move on to the next one. Coils dry. Dry. And dry. 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 Interesting. Now, let's take the plugs out and check them out. All the coils are dry. Next, we're going to take the plugs out and check them one at a time. See what condition the plugs are in. Okay. Yeah, so these plugs show a lot of burn. Oil burning, I think. Looks like it. Let me see what that smells like. Took out 4 plugs so far. They all look like there's a lot of deposit on them. Also noticed it's been twisted quite a lot. Maybe this plug was removed and installed quite a few times. Might have to fix that. Alright. Focus. Yeah, there's an oil deposit on this. And what is that? Broken plastic. Yeah. It does smell of gas. Let's take out the last plug here. Right. Here's our last plug. Focus, and yes, same deposit. This car was here about a year ago almost, and these plugs were changed. Originally these were BMW plugs, and I ended up putting NGKs. But this deposit buildup on all the plugs indicates that there is something going on internally. It's burning oil. and it has 2 cylinders that are misfiring. From the looking at the condition of the plugs, I think we are definitely gonna need, yeah, so the cylinder number 1 isn't as bad. Rest of them do look like they have a deposit on them. From what I can tell, this car is burning oil internally, and that's gonna keep giving us a problem with the spark plugs. So I'm gonna put a new plugs in here so this car runs better, but it still does not fix the underlying issue for this car. Meanwhile, since everything is out, I'm gonna disconnect the fuel pump relay or a fuse out, and then do a compression test on this. Make sure all the cylinders are reading proper compression, and call the customer. But this is what it takes to replace the spark plugs on the BMW 3 Series. This one right here is a 2002 or 3. So if you want to do a compression test on the 2003 to 2006, I think BMW 325 or 3 Series, you do have to take the plugs out, and you got to disconnect the fuel pump relay fuse. If you don't know where it is and you don't have any components here, then you need to go back to the passenger side. Open your glove box. Take out your thing here. And then you'll see these tabs. Pull them facing towards you. There's one here, one on this side. And this drawer stops down. And these are your fuses and the fuse puller. Now, take this card out. Try not to break it. And it will show you the list of fuses in this block. Now, in my case, I'm looking for the fuel pump fuse. And that is, fuel pump is 54. Go back to this right here. You can see the fuse numbers. We'll take the puller out of the way. If I can do it with one hand. Perfect. So right here is a 54, and that looks like is a 20 amp fuse. So let's pull it out. Turn the ignition on. Make sure you don't hear the fuel pump priming. I do not. Perfect. Compression test. Make sure you hear the car turn over 8 times. And then check the gauge. So for the compression, you're gonna need this compressor kit right here, and we'll tighten this end inside the cylinder head. Slowly until you feel like it's nice and snug in there. Perfect. Try not to twist too much. Last thing you need is that thing broken in there. Attach the gauge by pressing this in, and let's go ahead and crank this the 8th time and come back and see where our gauge stands. So our compression sits at 150 at one cylinder. We're going to try all of them. Cylinder number 2 sits at 125. Cylinder number 3, 152. Cylinder number 4 is at almost 162. Cylinder number 5, same. And cylinder number 6, gotten 175. Okay, so only cylinder number 2 is 125. So this car is also burning oil in all the cylinders, and it has low compression. That's the reason for misfire on this vehicle. So I got all the car put back together, put the plugs back in, close everything back up, and since I saw the plugs condition the way they were in, I wanted to check the oil because it's burning oil. So this is what we noticed. Oil is low. So this car is definitely burning oil, and I'll let customer know to keep an eye on everything. And This would be something they need to keep adding as often as the car needs it. So if you have that issue, please check your oil as well.